Welcome back. This is the next part in the Mkdocs static site template, build out. If you watch part one or have not watched part one, you can watch part one. Link to part one will be down in the description. And an entire playlist will be created with all the videos in this series so that you can watch them from beginning to end. So let's pick up where we left off. But first, this intro. All right, we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off. The last part we left off was we actually had the titles showing on the page. And as you see, still here at that same point. So let's continue. So we're going to go back over to the template that we're building. And so right now we have the nav child. And we actually want this to only show, or really you can show all of the content on this page. And you want it to actually link to the content itself. So what I'm going to do is to put a anchor link in, a anchor in here, or a link in here, if you will. And we're going to basically copy this over. I'll put that on the next line, and then we'll close out the tag. And we'll go back to the page. You'll see the content is here. And then we can also add some additional text here if you want, like the details. Let's say you want to put like some of the text for that particular post. So we can do copy this and navchild.content. And then there is a way to limit the number of characters on this, or you could just put all of the content there on this. So let's try that for right now. And so as you see, this is the full text of each of the pages that are listed. Obviously, you don't want to do that. Let's see if there is I don't have a trim or a preview function. So what we have to do is go to the Jinja website, and the Jinja website is the place where the documentation exists for to build out these templates. And if you want, so we can possibly do a a split. I don't know if you would call it split. Maybe it's not split. Or all right, so going through the documentation, let's see. How about we do a max length, and so all right. So for navigation, not what I'm looking for. Um, hmm. Trying to see if there's a different set of code here that possibly could be used to trim that page content down. And if there is something that could be done there, then that would be great. But I'm not seeing anything that's showing how to, I guess, maybe limit the values. Let's see. So let's go to the world's favorite search engine and do Jinja limit string length. I guess we could do that. And so we have this example here. So truncate. All right, so that was pretty easy. All right, so let's give that a go. So we're gonna go to the nav child content and then do truncate. And let's say we want to, we'll stick with 50 in the number of characters to use. All right, and put a space there at the end of that to make that look correct. And if we go back Looks like it is doing correct. May have to strip the tags. There's another value in here. Jinja, I think it's called strip tags or something like that nature. And that way you will pull out that way you can pull out those values. I believe that's what it's called, the strip tags. Yeah, so value, okay. So truncate 50, and then really want to strip tags first. And then we want to truncate after stripping the tags out. All right, so now if we go back, so there we are. So we have that there. Oh, we also need to put another line break after that. I was wondering why it looked kind of weird for a second there. There we go. So we have our 50 characters. So we have the title of the post. We have a 50 character preview of the post. And we actually probably want to make this more like a 150. Because this is, mind you, this is characters, not words. All right, so there. So we have 150 characters. And it's automatically adding the ellipses to the end of that 150 characters. So that's a good thing. All right, now if we come back to post here. All right, and I want to clean this up a little bit. So let me move that over and really want to put that on the end of that line. And then I'm going to put that there. So once I actually move this over so you can see the whole screen, like so, you'll see it's all on one line instead of broken up into multiple lines. All right, the next thing, come back here, make sure everything still looks correct, and it does. Actually, I think I want to put these inside of paragraph tags to put a little bit more spacing there. And remove that one. All right, and so now you have a little bit more spacing here with each of the posts. And, okay. So now that that is in place, and we have it sorting in reverse order, therefore the most recent post will show up at the top instead of at the bottom. And I'm not sure how it will do with the content being in multiple directories beneath it, but again, we'll figure that out as we go. And I also want to exclude content that is not in the gardening or other directories. So we're going to put an if condition here, if, and it's going to be similar. So if lifestyle in nav child dot URL or gardening in nav child dot URL, or, and what's the last one? I'm trying to remember my categories. Gardening, lifestyle, portfolio. I don't want to put portfolio in there, but I will put speaking in here. So, or if speaking in nav child.url, then we want it to display there on the page. So now if we refresh, the about and the contact should disappear, but it looks like I might have a syntax error, I think because I forgot the closing if. So I have a 4, so I need the end if there. Let's see if it refreshes. There we go. So now I've gotten rid of the about and the contact pages from the list of blog posts. Now, let's see how we can limit the numbers of, so if we go over here to the additional content that I have already. So I want to move the gardening content up as well so that we can try to get some of that mixed in here. All right, and 2020 for gardening goes up. There we go. All right, so now if we come back and save, it should mix in. There we go. Yeah, so we have our gardening post mixed in here. And let's do the speaking category. The portfolio category I don't want to quite do, and I might, well, I haven't coded it in for it to show the portfolio, so I guess that's a good thing as well. So now if we come back, might have to, let's see the speaking stuff. Let's see. No. Oh, all right. So we're going to save one of these pages, and it should, or did it refresh? Don't see. So Linux training session, close. All right. Did I put that in there? Yeah. Speaking, right? Yes. So, or speaking. Okay. So I should see a Linux training session somewhere in here. There it is. Okay. So it's further down than I thought it was, but nonetheless, it is here. All right. So we have all of that mapped out. And so this is on the home page. What I really want to do is to limit it to 5. I don't know how to break a for loop. So I guess that's the next thing is once the counter hits 5, then we want to break that for loop. So let's see. It's got, how are those declared? All right, so percent. They got a 4 in some lease object. I don't know how to break a for loop. Let's see. So Ginger break for loop. Let's see what the internet has about breaking for loops. So you use filter instead. If not, all right, so let's see what the documentation says a little bit more. So for loops in the sequence, rows and rows, if not in user hidden. So unlike Python, it's not possible to break or continue in the loop. However, you can filter the sequence during the iteration, which allows you to skip items. The following skips all the users which are hidden. So I guess if we can do it if, trying to think. User and user, Kenny is sick. Ha, ironically, they would use one with me in the name. All right. Okay, so that's it about filters. So I guess we can try something similar with this if not in user hidden. And so we'll go to this for loop and do if not count. Let's see, if not count greater than 5, I guess. And then so we'll have a variable here. We'll have to declare. I'm trying to remember how to do this correctly because print expression. So count, I think is right. Plus plus. All right, and let's see if we have a compilation. Yep, we have a compilation error. So not there. Come on. 177. So it does not like this. All right, so we have another compilation error on 175, so it does not like this. All right, so there. All right, so it did compile that, and we might just have to do a little bit more deeper diving into that. But I want to be able to show you how to do these various things on the page. So, like I said, you have a page list, a title here, as well as a preview of the content of the page. And now if we click this link, it does not go anywhere. So let's see, why does it not go anywhere? So nav item. So nav item is the wrong variable there. Should be nav child. And put some little bit of space there so that it's a little bit more readable. All right, and if we see down in the bottom right here that it is showing the URL which is about to navigate to, and because the page content is not correct, we have to go back and correct this. So we want to only show this set of content if we are on the home page. So we're going to do an if page.is homepage as the expression, and if it is, we want to show that set of content, and we want to stop that here. So that should compile, and it does. Okay, so the page that we're on now is blank, which it should be. And if we come back to this if condition here, so if lifestyle in page URL, or, and then we want to copy the other two conditions that we have up here, and I just have to, oops, copy too many. Hold on. So page URL. All right, and I'm not sure how to go back and regroup this, so I'm gonna just take that out for the time being. And we want to change this nav child to page, and it should show. There we go. So we have our page header and our metadata, and if we follow the remainder of the example, so the page content would go into the next paragraph tag. So you do page.content and save. And there we go. So we have our blog post now showing up on the page as it's already formatted. And we go back to the home page, which this does not point to the home page. All right, so let's go to the page title, which is up here. I'm gonna change this href to a slash, and that will point to the root directory. Now, if you're using a website in a subdirectory, you'll need to change this to match that subdirectory. So it'll be slash whatever the folder your website is based in. Otherwise, that won't work. All right, so as you see here now, it now goes back to the home page as it should. And I don't have anything for the subscribe at the moment, but it does show the content that is working, which is a good thing. All right, so let's work on this featured block at the top of the page next. So we come back here, and so here's the featured block. All right, and it's leveraged using a Jumbotron. Actually, we'll call this the latest post. All right, and what I want to do is, so the title of a longer post. So what we can do is actually, I'm going to essentially copy this here, because I only want the latest post to show up on the homepage. And I want to also, so if for, no. So put that here. So if we navigate away from the homepage, I don't want the Jumbotron to still be up there. That's not, that kind of defeats the purpose. And I only want the one of these to show. All right, let's see if we can try. We really got to figure out now how to limit this to 1. So 4 and limit. All right, so how to break a for loop. So we can use the first filter that is in here. All right, so loop dot first. I guess that's how you would do it. All right, so loop dot first. Now this may not be the correct way to do this, but I'm giving it a shot here. And so, all right, so loop dot first, and then we're just gonna, really I'm just copy this and paste this here. And let's see what happens. Does it compile? It appears that it has. So if we go back here and refresh the page, that is not exactly what I wanted. All right, so let me correct this indentation. All right, so the 4, I really shouldn't have done that. All right, And if you're asking why am I doing this manually instead of using the formatter that's built into Visual Studio Code, and the reason being is because the formatter does not recognize these non-HTML tags, so these open in the brace with parentheses, it doesn't recognize those as being a thing that contains a nested element. And so if I were to do that, it would shift everything, it would shift those lines to line up against the whatever heading instead of indenting them like it should be, like I have it right here. So that's why it's not doing that, or I'm not using that feature, that is. All right, so let's go back to here. Let's see how we can get the first iteration. So I guess in the, not sure how to leverage this loop dot first. So let's go in a new tab. Then mean a search in a new tab. And we'll type in Jinja behind that. And loop.index. All right, so if loop.index is less than 5, then do something. Oh, well, cool. So I guess we can leverage if loop.first equals true, then do that. And to answer, I guess we got the answer for the other question as well in the process. Looks like we have, do we have? Oh, okay. So let's refresh. Probably need to move this up. So you only want to go through the first nav child item, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So that means a double if right there. Let's see what happens. All right, so that's not what I was looking for. All right, so going through the nav child item, and item has children. We only want to do the first. So it's a loop within a loop, which is kind of tricky. Let's see. So put an and here. Does it complain? Okay, I guess not. But we also don't get our block here that we need to have. All right, let's restart the server because it looks like there's a little bit of an issue there with that. Not sure what was happening there. All right, so we're still getting each of the posts, which we don't need to get. And all right, so back to the Jumbotron. So the first nav item. All right, so let me comment this out. If nav item has children and it's the first item in that list, then really don't need to, or do we? All right, so I did see another thing in here where it said limit or list the, I think it was only the first 5. Yeah, so if in loop.index is less than or equal to 5. So this is kind of a bit of helpful for the listing of the most recent posts on the home page. And so we want to copy this and put that there. And let's see what happens now. So still showing everything, which is not what I wanted. Nav children. Less than 5 and need to, whoops, wrong shortcut. Let's see if that corrected the problem. It probably did not. Probably caused the problem. No? Okay. Alright, so that did not fix that either. Okay, that's a problem. Alright, try. Alright, so if nav item. So what if we change this to for the nav item that have children? I only want the first 5 nav items. So are there 15 posts? So let's change this to 1 to make it a little bit easier to see. Ah, okay. So we have 3 posts. So that makes sense. So it goes through each category and gets the 5 first posts in each category, and then continues on from there. So that makes sense why it was showing all those posts. All right, now if we go back up to here, where loop first equals true. So using that same logic, and let's indent this so it's a little bit more readable. And indent that to make it a little bit more readable as well. Okay. So if you're going back here, loop.first should only print the first in each of the children of posts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so let's change this to this statement here. And actually change this to a 1. And not sure what took place right there. All right, so we still have, and I guess we got 1 post for each of the categories, which is not quite what I want. So probably gonna have to do is to add loop index 1 and then do the same thing. Perhaps here. And then we'll duplicate this line there. Now let's see what happens. Oh, okay. We'll move it down a level. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. So we can also, another route, I guess, would be that once we get inside of that loop, that we set a variable that will check that loop for what it has. And so that is possible that that could be done. Okay, so let's look up how to set the variable, and we'll actually do that in the next part of this series. So be sure to come back and watch that part. If you have any questions about what was done in this video, please leave a comment down below. If this video has helped you, expose you to some HTML or even some Jinja templates, or has helped you build your own template, please give this a thumbs up. Until next time, peace out.